everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. So today I'll make another video in the same series of knowledge share, and in this video itself I'll try to cover one of the thing which is I think most of our developer is always be concerned about it, and pen testers are quite happy with that whensoever the situation is like whensoever they are in this situation. So pen testers enjoy this situation a lot, and developers don't like such type of situation. So I don't want to make more suspense on it. I'll directly go to the topic. What exactly the topic is it? So if anyone asks you the code is vulnerable, like whatever the code you're trying to get a test, whether it's vulnerable or not, and can you answer it? So if anyone asks you about it, so how exactly you will give the answer for it? So this is just I can say that inappropriate question I have asked you. Like if anyone asks you blindly, like if you are going for the interview, anyone asks you the code is vulnerable or not, so on the basis of what you're supposed to give the answer for it. Like I have just seen it somewhere, that was the reason I took this statement and tried to make the content on it. So someone asked like is the code is vulnerable or not, can you answer it? So like what exactly the things you have to get it delivered to the person itself, how you express your views on it, if you're a pen tester, if you're a developer, how exactly is it, I'll try to get it covered in it. So on the basis, if anyone asks you about this or you want to present something in front of anyone, and this is it's a highlight topic, I can say that. So if you're talking about like whether the code is vulnerable or not, here are some common vulnerabilities to watch out for in general itself. So we'll start our view just with that vulnerabilities. What are the common vulnerabilities which we are getting in a code itself? That is the first approach which we have to go it further with it. Instead of just making a false statement on it, we just have to be on a safe side. So the thing when we're talking about the code itself, whether the code is vulnerable or not, we just have to consider all the possibilities. So I'll just start with the possibility which I'm talking about, the vulnerabilities which might be get identified in a code which you are providing to me. So I will give it answer like it may be possibility injection attack is possible in your code. So that's one of the things. So if I talk about the SQL injection, command injection, improper handling of the user input that allow an attacker to inject malicious command or the queries itself. What exactly it means? So if you have identified, like if you're talking about your code is vulnerable to SQL injection, so it means like any script, any query of SQL, or I can say that any command based injections can be get it injected inside of your code and get that appropriate stuffs like database name, database stuffs, internal secret stuffs which we can get it retrieve using those injections point. So I'll just try to make it more clear about it. How exactly is it? It's happening just because of that, as we like in the application we don't have any appropriate input validation. Just because of that only that type of incidents happening. So if we have an appropriate incident like input validation over there itself in all the parameters where exactly there is a possibility attacker or intruder can pass unwanted variables or queries or any scripts, malicious content to be get it passed, those things if we can prevent it, definitely we can overcome this problem. So I'm just giving a solution also, but I'm just giving these are the possibilities. Anyone ask you about it, how you approach for it. So SQL injection is one of the thing which relevant to the user input validation. Other than that, other causes also be in place, but the thing is I'm just taking one of the thing out of that what are the cause for SQL injection. Going further with that, cross-site scripting. So failure to proper sanitize and validate user input, leading to execution of malicious script in a user browser. So that's relevant, similar like the previous one, but the thing is that here exactly we have the possibility of both the ways. Like what type of cross-site scripting we can get it executed even in a browser also, even in a DOM section also we can do the stuffs locally. Like I can say that even on the client side also I can execute that vulnerability to be get it exploit. I can conduct the attack even on the client side itself. So it's not possible all the time I have to go to the server just to exploit something. Even on the server side I can do that. And even if we'll talk about the other two possibility for the cross-site where we are talking about the reflected, or I can say the stored one, then in that case definitely have to approach to the server, trying to inject something from my side and get it response. It's a reflected. If you get stored and try to get it execute when you're trying to get it access something else in the application and that is get triggered, then in that case it's a stored access. So that's coming under the category. It may be a possibility our application is vulnerable to the cross-site. I'm not saying that all the application is vulnerable, but couple of applications having it, and they have the best practice for it, just to sanitize whatever the queries get it passed. If a user is trying to get it saved anything over there itself, make sure it should be appropriate, it should be get it user validation, user input validation should be there itself, so that not a malicious content is get it passed to the server itself. In case of DOM also, the similar type of thing we're supposed to do. Going further with that, if you're talking about the cross-site request forgery, so what exactly we're supposed to do in case of cross-site request forgery? First of all, you have to understand the attack, what exactly a CSRF is. So in case of CSRF, the person is trying to make a request, and that person is trying to get it triggered on the behalf of the user. So take example, if you are already having, user A is already having a session live right now and he is performing some action, simultaneously the attacker is trying to push a request from attacker side to that victim end and try to do that activity on the behalf of the user. So using the same session, the attacker is trying to push one request, and using that the server is detecting it like if this is a legitimate session and we are getting a legitimate request, then the activity will be get it conducted. So that's a part of the CSRF attack, and how to get it overcome that. Definitely it's a token, like if you are going one of the solution for it, definitely a CSRF token is one of the implementation which get it expire in each and every request. Once it's get fulfilled, it get expired. So that is one of the thing which we can utilize it. Even if a attacker is trying to get it manipulate the request, he's not having the CSRF token which is get generated for that server, and as the CSRF token is not present, then definitely your request is not get fulfilled. This is one of the solution. There are a number of ways just to get it bypass the CSRF token also. I'm not going in depth, I'm just talking about if your code is vulnerable, there is one of the possibility for the CSRF also. Going the fourth point, where we're talking about authentication and the session management issues. So authentication is like, take example, if a person is trying to get it login, you put anything from your side, it will get accepted and you are going inside of it. Take example, if you are putting any malicious content, any hash, question mark, exclamation, or dollar, anything like that you'll try to use, and using that itself, it's a type of injection you're trying to put it in a login and the password, you can get it inside of it. Taking example, if that is not the thing and you have the appropriate authentication over there itself, but the session is not getting expired, you get it login, but it's your session is never ever get expired. Like you will get it login, it will log in forever. So that's also bigger problem. Like the person can take that cookie and that person can use a session ID. With that session ID, that person can use it and use it forever. That was one of the things. If you are not expiring the session ID, as per the timeline which is get defined from the as per the timeline as per the guidance provided by the OWASP, we have to get it defined appropriately, request timeout, and once the session will be idle, then definitely the session will be get it terminated, and automatically the user will have to get it login once again. That is coming under the category of the authentication and session management. It might be a possibility your code is vulnerable to that, so that's also one of the thing I just want to get it considered if I'll give it an answer for it. Session data exposure. Sensitive data exposure. So that's also one of the thing where like whatever the content which you do not want to get it exposed, you are exposing that content, like either with any ways. Like taking example, if you are passing any unwanted content and you're getting some response from the server side, by that way either you are seeing the version of the server, you are seeing the version of the platform, anything like that, or at any point of time, like you are just passing one query and you are seeing the whole dump of the response from the server side, like for everything. Like example, if only one user is required, but I'll try user and then I'll just put some injection type of thing and then try hit it. So if I'll try to get it pass, in that case in the response I'll supposed to get it some something from the server side, and that's having a lot of user details, full information about it. That's also a part of the sensitive information disclosure, where we are seeing the version detail of the server, application version details, a number of things we can see that over there itself, and which we can exploit it later phase itself. If we are aware about the version, definitely we can utilize. If a known version exploit is available in a market, we'll definitely have to use it and get it exploit that. Going further with that, if we're talking about the insecure direct object reference, so it's IDOR. So definitely lack of proper authorization checks allowing attacker to access resources they should not have the access to. What it means, take example, there is user A and there is user B. We have provided in a same portal we are providing the access of user A to admin and other sections also, and for user B we have not we have provided only the read access. But unnecessary, like if you have not configured or due to just misconfiguration on the application, the user B who is not having the accessibility of the right which user A is having, for example admin rights type of stuff or editing type of rights, the user B is not having it. But still, if you're trying to call those portion, take example, just directly put it that URL on the tab, you're trying to get it, hit that URL, it's accessible to you. That's coming under the category of the IDOR, where without having the appropriate privileges or rights for that section which you are trying to get it access, you can get it access that. That was the reason we are calling as an insecure direct object reference. Now going further with that, if you're talking about the security misconfiguration, though lot of things is coming under improper configured server, framework or application that expose unnecessary services or default credentials. So these are the bigger problem, like default credential using like a admin such type of credential using it, unwanted service. Take example, if you're using any service which you do not want to get exposed to internet, like in case of server, you have so many services are running, but the thing is that there is no need to get it exposed all the services to the internet on internet itself. So you wanted only port 80 or 443 other services, you wanted that to be get exposed to internet, not all services. That is a part of the security misconfiguration where you are exposing all the services and the attacker is aware about, okay, these are the service running, there is a possibility they are using a Tomcat or something like that services, and they can try such type of exploit over there itself on a server, and couple of cases they're getting a success using those services, vulnerable service which is running on it, and they can get the success over that, you exploiting those services directly and get the success and get the control of the server also, which lead to RCE. Going broken access control, failure to enforce proper access control, allowing unauthorized user to access restricted functionality or data itself. So that's also one of the thing, broken access control, you don't allowing the user to get it access that, but still that person can get it access that restricted stuffs, restricted data, the user can get it access. That is a part of the broken access control where a user can do that, and that to be get it restricted with the proper access control be in place. We have to get it defined. By that way we are restricting with the application a proper zone to be get access by the proper user, not with everyone. Insecure deserialization, improper handling of the serialized object leading to remote code execution or other types of attack itself. So like deserialization, it's an improper handling of the serialized traffic. When you're trying to send the data from your client side to the server side, it's a serialized traffic. So that's if you're not handling it appropriately, then definitely that to be get it deserialized, and any improper content will be get it injected, or malicious content to be get it injected, which may lead to a compromise or the remote control to be get it sent to the attacker. Like attacker can get the control of it, or there is a possibility other attacks can be get it conducted by the attacker in this case. Going to the last attack which I talk about, the insufficient logging and the monitoring. What exactly is happening in that? So inadequate logging and the monitoring practices can make it difficult to detect and respond to security incident in a timely manner. I hope you are able to understand, or I'll repeat once again I'll repeat it. Inadequate logging and the monitoring practices can make it difficult to detect and response to security incidents in a timely manner. So if we are not if we don't have a appropriate logging, insufficient logging and the monitoring controls on that application on the server itself, then definitely it may lead to compromise the application, even we can't identify the root cause of it. So monitoring and the logging is the most important thing in case of application or in case of server itself, so that we can retrieve at the time of anything happen to the server itself, at least we can retrieve the logs, can identify, okay, just because of what your application is down, it's not getting up, it's just because of any update, whatever is it, what exactly is happening at the time when the application is going down. So everything I can get it only through the logs itself. We are having the proper logs and monitoring, and definitely we can get that details about it, and we can take action against to that. Okay, going further with that, if we're talking about the common code vulnerability, so broken authentication and authorization is one of the things which we have already discussed about it. Weak password hashing, lack of multi-factor authentication, or improper access control mechanisms can allow unauthorized access to user accounts or sensitive data itself. So it's a part of it layer where exactly the user is using, like either a weak password. Hashing is one of the thing, like whatever the hash you're using, it's just a weak password. You're using a weak password hashing over there. Just because of that, the person can use the hash and can try it somewhere itself to retrieve the password out of it. And lack of multi-factor authentication, even a multi-factor authentication is in place, but the thing is that as you have not configured appropriately, it may leads to compromising the application itself and at multiple stages. And improper access control is also one of the thing where we are not defining the controls to the user appropriately. Just because of that, only unauthorized access to be granted to those user who is not having the access for those zone, the user can get it access that. So unwanted user can get the access of it if we have not defining appropriate control of the access in place on the application. Insecure misconfiguration also one of the major stuff which I can say that, which may insecure default settings, outdated softwares, or improper configuration of security features can expose vulnerabilities in the system itself. So I'll just give it an idea about it. What security misconfiguration, like you are using some software, some packages on your application or on your server, but unfortunately that package is outdated one, having a lot of vulnerabilities available already, a known vulnerability available in the market itself. Exploits are available in the market itself. If you're utilizing that in your application as a library or anything like that as a package itself, then definitely in all the ways that your application or your server will get it compromised on one day. So that's one of the thing. Other than that, the default settings is also one of the example. I'll give it an idea. Like now, not so easy, but the thing is earlier when I'm talking about when I'm doing the pen testing, couple of cases the developers are get it install the application in the packages, the framework and anything like that are Tomcat based. I can say that they're trying to get it install it, and later on when we try to see it, they are using a default. They have not disabled the default credentials, default settings, they have not disabled it. Just because of that only, if we try on the same portal with a default credential, we can able to get it login. So that is also one of the major security misconfiguration. I can say that they are not taking care of it. Nowadays I'm not seeing such type of thing, but earlier in the initial phase of it, when the pen testing was innovating, like most of the developers, they are just make it the application a default phase itself. They install it, they are forget about the default configuration security settings. They make it default only, and by that way the attacker, I can say the pen tester, can use those default credentials to get it login of the application. I did it multiple times, so that was the reason I'm aware about it. Buffer overflow and the memory errors. These vulnerabilities can occur when a code tries to write more data into the memory buffer than it can hold it. So this is also one of the vulnerability, I can say that, and mainly this type of vulnerabilities get identified in a thick client. When we are performing the assessment in thick clients, we can try such type of thing over there itself just to perform the buffer overflow over there. That's also one of the thing where we're just trying to reach the memory and make the error over there. We just try to put so much data over there, so which is not can be handled by the application, and definitely it will crash. And in couple of cases itself, that will reach to the buffer overflow. We'll try to put our malicious content over there just to get it execute when it's get crashed. That's one of the thing. And use of cryptographically insecure algorithm. That's also one of the thing. Like in couple of cases itself, the insecure algorithm is getting utilized for the application, like they're not using AES, they're still using 3D AES or something like that. So that's also one of the problem right now when they're using a old algorithms, but it's still like using that itself. If a person can get retrieve about that application, okay, they're using a old algorithm, or I can say that like if it's talking about the AES itself, they're not utilizing AES, they're not using the latest version for it. It's easy to get it cracked. That was the reason behind it. A weak encryption algorithm or implementing a cryptography incorrect can leave data vulnerable to decryption or manipulation itself. So that's one of the thing. Like you can manipulate the data also, and you can decrypt also very easily and can use it anywhere itself. And now going to the another section where we talking about the identifying the what are the, like we have no till yet like what are the possibilities. Like if we're talking about any code will be vulnerable, we know like now what are the possible vulnerabilities over there itself in all the ways. Now how to get it identified that if anyone asks you like how you can identify these vulnerabilities, these are okay, but how you, if I'll provide you the code, how exactly you can identify that. So using the code review, you can get it identified that very easily. Static code analysis is one of the thing you can do that, and by that you can get it analyzed SAST which you're talking about, we have the checkmaster step up tool, and we simply have to put the code, get it scanned with that, and we get the result. And on the basis we have to remove the false positive and get it, make the appropriate report. Just check with the actual pen testing and make the appropriate report whether this is these things which you're getting it from the tool, whether it's is it a false positive and it actually be a problem, it's really be a vulnerable point, or it's just a false positive. So that is one of the thing validation we have to do it. Dynamic analysis and the fuzzing, like which we are using a burp suit, where we are just running for that application. Like we can do that scanning for the application, also just try to see all the functionality features to be get a test. If there is injection point, is there an access is possible, whatever is it, any version is getting and the version is getting disclosed of the server application, anything like that, we can get the details with the dynamic analysis also. And going with the penetration testing, where the person is trying to get it exploit, like analysis is one of the thing, but beyond that is a penetration testing, where we have to go using those things and using the exploit, try to get it exploit those vulnerability which we have identified. So identifying vulnerability is one of the thing. To get it exploit is coming under the category of the penetration testing. Okay, now we're going to the last section where we're talking about the remembrance itself. What exactly is it? So staying up to date with the latest vulnerabilities and the coding best practice is crucial for writing a secure code. That's most important. Like when you're writing, if you're a developer, definitely you have to fulfill all the criteria. You have to make a code secure as per the standards get it defined already. And security is an ongoing process. Systems and the code need to be continuously monitored and updated to address new threats. So make sure that whenever you're writing any code, so don't use the same code forever itself. Whenever if you have updating your knowledge, you are came to know about it, okay, this is one of the vulnerability get introduced in a market with this version which I'm utilizing it. Make sure you have to be get a test that thing, or try to get it, provide some sort, like you have to update, either to update, upgrade, whatever you're supposed to do it, or any control which is supposed to place it for that application, you have to raise it, so that your application be on a safer end as comparison it get exposed to the internet and anyone can get it exploit, take a data, whatever data you have it on that application, the attacker can take the data out of it. So don't go in that way. Definitely whenever you are making it, make sure you have to monitor that application forever, so that at any point of time anything new threats will get introduced in a market, you are aware about it to get it sorted out that issue very well. So if you're interested in learning more about the specific vulnerabilities or the secure coding practices, let me know. I can point you towards some helpful resources itself. Definitely I will do that. Like if you just let me know about it, if you want to just understand all those vulnerabilities in depth itself individually, just let me know in the comment section of this video. I'll definitely try to make each and every section for it. And till yet I thought that now if anyone asks you about whether the code is vulnerable, you definitely have a lot of content for it to populate and just provided the content and how exactly what's your views on it, everything you have. Now you have the opinion for it, how exactly you can make your opinion whether your code is vulnerable or not, on the basis of what are the criteria, how to get identify, everything I'll try to get it covered in this. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.